Hey everybody, thanks for watching another episode of Save the Kales. I'm really excited about today's dish. Just in time for St. Patrick's Day, we're gonna do a healthy spin on some traditional Irish food, a shepherd's pie. And we're gonna make it extra festive by using the colors orange and green. So stay tuned. First thing we're gonna do is get the potato topping for our shepherd's pie. Now, traditional shepherd's pies usually use regular white potato, mashed potatoes, and you can do that if you want, but for a little healthier twist, I suggest using some yams or sweet potatoes, and they're also more colorful and prettier. So to do that, get about 3 or 4 average size sweet potatoes or yams and cube them up and boil them. You can take the skins off if you'd like. I prefer to leave them on. That's just a preference. And once they're done boiling and they're soft to the touch, just set them aside and let them cool. So while the potatoes are boiling, preheat your oven to 350 degrees and we can get started on the next part. And for this, we're gonna use some mushrooms. And this is about 1 pound of mushrooms, and we're going to roughly chop them into smaller pieces. I am using portobello mushrooms for this. You can use just a white button mushroom, any kind you want, but I think these have kind of a meatier texture. Alright, so we've got about 1 pound of mushrooms all chopped up, and we're gonna put a little bit of olive oil in a skillet. We'll add them to it, and we're gonna put them on a medium heat. And then we're also gonna top them with just a little bit of soy sauce, and mushrooms are gonna act like a sponge, and this will just give them a little bit more flavor aside from their natural mushroom flavor. So we'll put these on the stove for about 10-15 minutes. Okay, the next thing we're gonna do is chop up our onion, our garlic, and our leek. And this is what a leek looks like. A lot of people actually aren't completely familiar with these. It kind of has like an oniony flavor. It's kind of like onion and celery somehow mixed together in terms of taste and texture. So chop the end of this off, and then we're gonna break it right down the middle. That's actually quite pretty. Okay. Now inside all of these little fronds and leaves, sometimes dirt and sand will get trapped. So at this point, you might just want to rinse it out, make sure you wash it so you're not eating really gritty food. So we'll turn that over and start chopping. So at this point, we're just gonna put them into these little half rounds. And once we start getting to these green parts, we're gonna chop those in half again too. They can be a little easier to handle this way. And we are going to use the whole thing. All right, we got our leek all chopped and ready to go, just in kind of small bite-sized pieces. And we're going to do the same thing with the sweet onion. You can use a Vidalia onion. And then we have 5 or 6 cloves of garlic that we will grate on top. All right, everything's chopped up. We'll put a little bit of olive oil in the bottom of our pan. Add the onions and the leeks, and we'll turn this up to high and get it sizzling, and then we're gonna bring it down to a medium heat, and it's gonna start to brown a little bit and get a little caramelized. We're gonna leave it like that for about 10 minutes. There's our mushrooms. They're nice and brown. They smell really good. I'm just gonna set those aside in a bowl while the leeks and onion and garlic are cooking. Don't forget to add our cooked mushrooms to the leeks that are sauteing on the stove. All right, while everything else is finishing up on the stove, we will finish with our potato topping. So this is a regular old school potato masher. And these guys are really soft, so they are gonna mash very easily. But I am gonna add some more flavor. I'm gonna chop up a shallot, And shallots are really cool if you never use them. They're kind of a cross between a red onion and garlic, so they have a really great flavor. So we're gonna chop that up and throw it in there. We're gonna put some green onions in so that when this is on the top of our shepherd's pie, it's gonna be orange and green. I'm gonna add some nutritional yeast because it has kind of a cheesy flavor, but if you don't have it, that's absolutely fine. You can leave it out. And certainly remember, if you have any favorite mashed potato recipes, go ahead and use it. Just put whatever you want in that you think would taste good. All right, the ingredient we're using in this dish is going to be tempeh. And tempeh is something that not a lot of people are familiar with. It's not particularly common, though it is if you do a lot of plant-based cooking, because it's actually an incredibly nutritious food. So it comes out like this. And I know this probably doesn't sell it for you, but let me explain what this is. Tempeh is made from soybeans, so it's kind of a cake made of compressed soybeans. And in terms of how it would compare to tofu is that it actually has more fiber, more protein, and is less processed. So you can crumble this up. It's also really good if you steam it first, if you are somebody who's new to tempeh, because it has a bit of a bitter taste. And that's because, dare I share this part, it is fermented. So all those good bacteria that you hear people say, eat yogurt, you get good bacteria. Well, this has the good bacteria as well from a plant-based source. But I promise it tastes really good. So I hope you'll try it in this recipe. We're gonna just crumble it up and add it to our big saute pan here, which has the leeks and onions and garlic. So you can use 1 or 2 packs of tempeh and just use your hands to break it up. And when we're done, we will put this back on the stove, toss everything around. The tempeh will get a little bit browned, and then it'll be ready. Okay. So our bottom layer of our shepherd's pie is done. The top layer, which is our potatoes, are also done. So now we just put it into a baking dish. Casserole dish will work great. You might want to spray it down a little bit first with some cooking spray. And get that bottom layer in there. So now we'll get that topping. And this does look really pretty. Orange and green, very festive. We can go ahead and put this in the 350-degree oven for about 40 minutes. And when it comes out, it is going to be delicious and look really pretty. So let's get this in the oven. Okay, there it is. It still looks really pretty and really colorful. So let's dig in here. All right, look at that. A delicious vegan shepherd's pie made with sweet potato topping and leeks and mushrooms and tempeh in the bottom. This smells so good, and it's gonna make your house smell good, and it's gonna make everyone who eats it very, very happy. So from Save the Kales in Lehigh Valley Mirror, happy St. Patrick's Day, and we will see you next time. Bye guys.